discuss today the different type of companies, right? Can you see the slide now?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So our topic today is different type of companies. Right. The beauty of company law is that when you go compare the companies with other type of business, under the concept of corporation, there are a number of different companies you can incorporate. It's a core concept, there's only one time. Next, doing ventures, probably one time. Partnership, there are two types, general partnership and the limited liability partnership. Even limited liability partnership is not available in Sri Lanka or UK. We only have again only one type of general partnership. Private public partnership, there are different types of private public partnership. But when you come to the concept of corporation, there are a number of different types of corporation. Sometimes what you learn for the A-level is completely different. There's an example on the level you say when you discuss about the advantage of companies that you can raise capital issuing shares to the general public. But in Sri Lanka, more than 85% companies are private. Can they issue shares to the general public? No. Can private limited issue? No, they can't. So therefore, they are completely different. So what you have discussed to understand is about the public companies. What is important is they are completely different. Okay. Commonly we say companies, but the objectives, the legal state, the society they are completely different. As an example, in the private companies, though discourage having number of shareholders, whereas for a public companies, law encourage have number of employees. But in private companies, they discourage that it limit to 50. And also in private companies, it is an offense to issue shares and other securities to the general public. For a public companies, it is offense not to issue. Therefore, like that, there are completely different type of business variables. So we discuss on this topic. What are those different type of business that you can incorporate and run business under the companies? And just let me know some type of companies that you know. Which are available. So firstly, we discuss about the business forms. Next, today we discuss about the companies. What are the different type of companies that you know? I have already told you two, right? Yes. But can you tell me? Partnership. Can you incorporate partnership and other companies? No, I'm talking about the companies. Different type of companies that you incorporate under the companies. PLC, right? Public limited companies. Okay. Next. Sorry, to respect your meditate. Okay. Private limited companies, okay. I'm going to give you. How can you incorporate on the company side? Then you can incorporate in which way? Right? Like we want to incorporate some companies which promote the woman business creator, woman entrepreneurs. How can you incorporate? Yes. That you are here, incorporate You can, that's why I said on the comparison, you can, so whatever you want to do, there's a method to incorporate. Any volunteer? Even online people, how can you incorporate charities under the comparison? You can incorporate it as guarantee limited or as an association not for profit. If you register them under section 34 as an association not for profit, it is also a corporate good, it is also a company. Okay. Then private limited, public limited, guarantee limited, association not for profit. What else? That's all you know. That you want to start a business to import cars from Japan to India. Okay. What is the type of company that you can incorporate? Your business is to import cars from Japan to India. How can you do this? Well, in other words, real Atma and the different. Yeah, that's really upgrade some Agamian. May that a soft regular picture business. So you can incorporate as an offshore company. So you can incorporate the company here in Sri Lanka to do business in outside Sri Lanka. So offshore companies. But you already have a business in China or Dubai. You want to start the same business here in Sri Lanka. What you can do? Then you can register it here as a foreign company. So likewise, there are different type of business you can do here in Sri Lanka. You can incorporate or register. We'll see one by one. There are special features. So I'm not that way today. So these are the ILOs of today's lesson. After today's lesson, you will be able to identify different type of companies that can be incorporated here in Sri Lanka, and to recognize the nature, incorporation, requirement, and characteristic of different type of companies. And most important, you should be able to select the suitable type of company to carry out your business. Right. So this is the main thing about before you start a business, you need to make sure what type of business you can have to incorporate. Right. Right. So these are the subtopics. So we'll be discussing about different type of companies that we discussed. Right. Companies like any other things comes with different shapes and sizes. Right? Right. If you want to do business yourself, what you can do? Yes. You can incorporate as a single shareholder company. But if you do business with the thousands of people with different countries, then maybe multinational, transnational companies, right? Or with some personal family members, maybe a private limited company, right? So likewise, they come with different shapes and sizes. So this you can categorize companies according to the liability, according to the number of members, or according to the company size. Right? So this is one method that we can do it. Mainly companies may be companies limited by limited companies or unlimited companies. So the limited companies may be limited by shares or limited by guarantee. Then the limited by shares may be either private, public, or single shareholder companies. Public companies may be listed or unlisted. Guarantee companies may be guarantee limited or association, not for profit. Likewise, yes. This is how companies act, capitalized companies. Right. By section 3, it recognizes limited companies, unlimited companies, and companies limited by guarantees. This limited companies may be either public company, private company, or single shareholder companies. Even though there's no categories, the companies that we all know that the public companies may be listed companies or unlisted companies. Listed companies may be listed in the first listing or second listing. Right? Again, guarantee company may be guarantee limited to association, not for profit. And by two different sections, right? Companies that also recognizes offshore companies and the foreign companies. Right? So that is the companies recognized by the Companies Act. Apart from that, people also use some terms like multinational transnational companies, group of companies, subsidiary companies, holding companies, right? So those are also in the business world. First, we will discuss about the limited companies, and then first we give our attention to the private limited company. Right? What is a private limited company? This you all know from all level, A level. Is there any person who has the confidence to say exactly what is a private limited? No, any person with the confidence to define or interpret the private limited. Even online people, even you can check online research or so whatever. Is there anyone who has the guts to define what is a private limited company? You will get extra 1 mark for your continuous assessment. If you attempted, you will get it, but now not for attempting, but to exactly define it, you will get the 1 mark. The first place, if you attempted, I will give you that mark. Yes.
Owners, liabilities, limited. Shares,
Correct. Owners, liabilities, limited. Shares. Your liability. Any different opinion? I will compare the background to us, or the photography print other people. Then I have my dear people. Come up there, I will make a policy of what is a private sector. And so I think here. Student. Someone company what is the best method is to look at the articles of association of that company. By looking at the articles of association of that company, you can probably get the idea what type of company it is. But anyway, for the private limited companies, by part 3, chapter 20, part 3, sorry, section 27 defines. But it's a private limited company, so you don't need to. It's like looking at it, there's a definition. In a comparison, there's no definition for the public company, but there's a definition for the private company. Right. So according to section 27, a company becomes a private company if and only by that company's articles. Right? Articles of association should have two clauses. One thing is that it limits its members to 50, excluding employees, right? And cannot issue shares and other securities to the general public. If those two articles or clause are there in the articles of association of a company, it is a private limited company, right? When a moment is not, okay, say that was not private limited company, right? May negative, right? It should limit its members to 50, excluding employees. And there must be another clause that it will not issue shares or other securities to the general public. Then and then only company become a private limited company. Is it clear? Yes? පැහැදිලිද? දුවත් කීපවල මම ඉතින් කෑ ගහලා ඉන්නේ. ඒ වගේ කෑ ගහපන්. Kunhalo itu kayak akhir orang mesra lagi pada. Then whether private limited can issue shares, whether private limited company can issue shares. Okay. Whether private limited company can issue shares. Sure. Sure. Okay. No, if they don't issue shares, it is not a limited company. Right? It's a limited company. According to Section 3, a limited company is a company with issue shares. And the liability of members is limited to the shares they have won. So every type of limited companies issue shares. Then what is prohibited? They cannot issue shares to the general public. In other words, they cannot issue a prospectus. That is, prospectus are issued on the general public to the issue country. And on Tara issue country. Well, private limited companies not common last year issue. But going to be cost we have to sugar. General public other have to run. In a car of food. First one she actually turned, so I think boiling with the hospital. Right? First one she actually run ragged. Yeah, first one she actually run ragged. Family members. That is why it is called private. You have to issue shares. Private. Right? It's a private limited company type of company which is between kingship and friendship. Right? In most probably their objective is the family better. Therefore, you have to issue share private. That is why it is called private company. Do you get it? Get it covered in Dharma give. All the limited companies have to issue shares, but they can issue a prospectus. Right. I brought to you I should come like that. Members should be limited to 50, excluding employees. Now there's a private limited company. It already has 49 members. That 19 private limited. Right. 49 members are already there. One member was given a contract of employment as a CEO. Another was given a contract of employment as a managing director. How many more members can be members of this company? to retain it as a private limited company. Pertanyaan nomor 5. My question is very simple. How many more members can be members of this company to retain it as a private limited company? I want numbers in this. One. Okay. One. One. Let's your hands. Okay. Others? Two. Three. Four. Then infinity. You said one? Two. One. 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 One, two. Online people, do you have any answers? Or you have only doing for academic purpose? If it is only for the attendance purpose, then I can mark your attendance and then you can leave. Right. What is a private limited company? It should limit its members to 50, excluding employees. Take a theorem. Exclude के theorem. People can get it. And I'm making that again. 49. Employees can be excluded. So two of them were given contract of employee. Then they can be excluded. Then now it is 47. Other is coming, other is they can calculate the power. Now how many more members can be members of this company? 3. Right. Then theorem. Come on. Power is the company, theorem is the father. Then, is it clear now? Then members should be limited to 50, excluding employees. Take care or not? Have a cut in the vehicle of net. The higher employment contract, then then cult pehli people, they call pehli. The pehli was a private limited company. Otherwise, then. Okay. So you may have so many other ideas what is a private limited company. In fact, they are not a private limited company. They may be advantage or characteristic of private limited company. Then you can like what are the advantage or what are the characteristics of private limited. Then you can say anything. So all but you know, say I have mentioned some of them here. It is private limited company. Then what is the minimum number of members? Private limited company, what is the minimum number of members? There's no use. What's the minimum number of members in a private limited company? 1. It is 1. There are single shareholder companies. Single shareholder companies are private limited companies. With the amendment done about 1 month before, it was made clear that the limited companies minimum numbers is 1. Right? Then directors. Well, the monkey then I can explain.
is
Because Halimayama is animal. I'll explain it later, right? Okay. Then minimum number of directors. Huh? Directors again second one. Again one. Right. So for the directors of a company, basically you have to retire. There's age limit. What about private companies? In the private companies, there's no retirement age. Right? So what else? Some of the advantages. You know, there are some private companies, their turnover is huge, like Movitel was a private limited company recently. Right? Mass, Benedicts, they are private limited. Their turnover is huge. Why do you think they run as a private limited company and why don't they go public? That is because the advantage given by the law to the private companies. It is almost like sole proprietorship. They are run by yourself or between husband and wife or between family members. So they can run it as private or sole proprietorship while they enjoy all the features of a company like separateness, legal personality, right? Perpetual succession, everything they can enjoy while they run it as their own company. Right? So, some other examples for private company advantages. The name you all know, they are privately owned company, therefore name must be a private company. In some countries, they are known as the PTY, you might have seen it. Australia, PTY, private company. Right? There's no need to develop financial statement. If it's a limited company, then there are requirements to file the financial statement. But for the private company, the only form they file is, the majority private limited is nothing but the annual return. All others can be dispensed. Right? If they can pass a unanimous agreement. Unanimous agreement can have a agreement together. Article 13 is how they have in the private company. Tikko Mangsa. Tikko Mama again. That's the way how it is. So getting easily can pass a unanimous agreement. Right? Then they can dispense with the sending financial statement or having share register you have to do, but interest register, right? In a company, if you do business with the company, you can do because you can buy shares so and so as compared to a different person. But there is a requirement of disclosure requirement. But in private company, you don't need to disclose and even you don't need to maintain such a thing. Right? That's why I said there are no more requirements. Many people believe when you write disadvantage of a company that there are formalities. But in fact, it is not relevant to the private company. Except you file annual return, there are no more formalities to file. Almost like a private limited person. And if they can pass the unanimous resolution, they can dispense with the interest register. Interest register means as companies differ, shareholders, directors are different, they can do business with the company. They can be a supplier, creditor, right? So, employee of their own company. But there's a requirement to write them in the interest rates. But in a private company, they even don't need to maintain such proof. Right? And if all agree writing, they sometimes even don't need to comply with the articles of association. Something like the creation of union and all, they can respect it. So apart from that, what else? Someone is a private company, there is no command. There's no retirement age of the CA not there capable earning. And then there's a very close relationship with the company and the owners. Right? When we discuss about the company's concept, even you might have done it for your A-level or whatever. The one main difference between the company and company is that the ownership and management is different. Can you give on? In the company, ownership and management is different. Is that correct? Correct? No, I'm a public company. I thought Mr. Shares can happy, right? But I don't know they manage can. Otherwise, for the directors of the other one, director board, they are no, because ownership is different, management is different. It is given the small board for board of directors. We shareholders are board members are together. But is it true for the private limited company? No, in the majority of private limited companies, almost all the shareholders are board members, directors. Right? As a theory, we can say it is different, but in practice, almost all the members are directors. So, in fact, there's no difference between the ownership and the management. Right? Can members of private limited company freely transfer their shares? Private limited company can have shares free. In the public companies, you can easily transfer your shares through series. I'm not going to What about in private company? Hello. And I'm going to and they also own what is it? Also only get it. What more is it? But I have to like a very deal. Yeah. Well, I have like work. Who do I know that? It was, but today there are no restrictions. Right? Until 2007, when they defined the private limited company like Section 27, there was another clause. There was another article that says that they can freely transfer their company to that. But from 2007, it was done. Therefore, now even for members of private limited company can freely transfer their shares. With that new change, some people argue that they are not a private company. So, I'm going to private company can be private. You private or can told around in the world. Private company, you are privately owned. They can go in the bed, so then you have restriction. Therefore, some people even argue that they are not any more private limited companies, but only thing is, if they want, they can have such a clause in the But for the public companies, it is not permitted to have such a clause. Right. So, those are the laws. So, private limited companies, you can have just like a sole proprietorship. Only requirement is that there are some requirements. You can say that annual return you have to file. There must be a director, there must be a secretary, right? Here, the secretary, I want to get a problem, I want to get the director, secretary, annual return, compared to other type of forms of business, you can say there are some formalities, but this is not a huge formality, a very simple thing. And again, it is that formalities that make a company a trustworthy person. But this clearly different from the public companies. There are no more other laws. There is no application of Managers code, acquisition code, good governance code, best practice code, CSC rules में बहुत पता रहता है private companies में, right? It's almost like your sole proprietorship. So that's the reason for many companies like Ma, Galle, so whatever, to continue their business as a private limited company. Otherwise, they don't have any fear that their shares will not be subscribed. Maybe because of this flexibility. That's not only recognized by the law, even the general public differently think of private limited company. सामान्य सुनते हैं मैंने प्राइवेट कंपनी के पब्लिक कंपनी ना ये तो लेकर मैं आप एक करते हैं महाजन करते हैं हमारे सामने वो आंख लिखते हैं but still but for the public company private company people know who are behind it नहीं एक लोग क्या ना फाइल करने का उसने क्यों how then कांडा नेविल पे हमें एक नेविल में even the general public believe they belong to some other people and they are under control by those people. Even a public companies are controlled by the past part. Public companies are controlled. In the near, as is the one, I don't know. But this to get a out of company, as is the other company, may damage a better. But private company means to be America, never we make a movie here. Because that relationship between the ownership and the companies very close. Right? So that is how no treat them separate. There's no formalities. That's very good facility for the private companies. That is why many companies run as a private companies. And in the general public view, they are almost like a sole proprietorship more than a limited companies that govern the or involve the public market. Right, so that's the private limited companies. They are again important because in Sri Lanka, about 80, it is almost like 85% companies are private limited companies. And also, it is the private limited company that become like public company. Therefore, they are important types of company. According to section 28, a company ceases to be a private company if they change its article, right, in a way that this company does not comply with the section 27. As an example, if a company issue a prospectus, then they have changed its name private to public. If there are more than 50 members, then they have to change this name private to public. In the same manner, if company continues without issuing prospectus for less than 50 members, then that company also can change this name public to private. Right, so that's a private limited companies, right? So now we also discussed the some main features of public companies. Like private company, there's no definition for a public company. In a company, there's no definition for a public company. It also comes under limited company. So, however, we know that public companies exist. And there are mainly two types of public companies. What are they? Public companies may be either listed companies. If listed, its name must end with PLC or public limited companies. So public companies may not be a listed company, but it's still a public company. Then its name comes with limited. Until the limited is a public company, but not listed. PLC is a public listed company. Example, keep your tanga here. Public companies. From the very beginning, I asked you, you can even look for the internet, right? Very much, right? And the graduates of public company and listed company and can go and take them. Some fund bank is a PX, is a distributor. And must be shares. Must be a distributor. Only listed company can run as a banking and insurance sector. Therefore, all companies related to insurance and banking must be a listed company. Right? Listed company, sorry. Unlisted company but public company. Example. Under the PXC, the whole listed company. But even at the old country, limited company. Monos. KPMG. KPMG, you can tell them. Almost all the returns are keep that and they are not a partners. The political auditing and accounting standard activity intercompany special business entities. Because all of us have a thousand the amount and anti-corruption activity in a private security, special business entity. They go to anti-corruption activity as a state level flag. Lanka is done we medical CBA, Ceylon Business Limited. I mean, this one has been this. They are public companies, but not listed companies. Right? All of that are one country within. They will listed the company. And I will give one on this one again. List on the CBA, limited care, I don't know, of course. Limited company. PLC and limited. Limited company. Right. Then they both are public companies, right? But the difference between public company and public sector company are they same or different? Public company company will something even some public and public sector are they same or different? Different. Okay, correct. What is the difference? The public company getting looking at that same to the general public. Right? Public sector company. Public sector company, government company, state company, they are the companies that belong to the government. Right? If a company is shares, if all the shares hold more than 51% shares belong to the government, then we call them public sector company or government company or state company. They may be private limited, public also, right? Some private limited. So it's a little thing. Public company doesn't mean they belong to the government. Right? Government may be a shareholder. Right? If the government has more than 51% share, then only we call them public sector companies. Public companies like that. Right. So what is a public company? Yes. There's no definition in the comparison. So you have to make your own definition. Actually, we can handle second direction, clearly defined what's the private reason company, but there's no such definition for the public company. English public company define private company define that. Private company define public company define that. So we can say public company as a company. We can issue shares to the general public. And there's no maximum limit of members. Right? If there's no maximum limit of number of members, and if they can issue shares and other securities to the general public, so it is a public company. Accordingly, all those your knowledge, what we know as a companies are the public companies. There's no limit of shareholder. They can raise its capital by issuing shares and other securities to the general public. The management and ownership is different, right? So all those are features of the public company. Public companies belong to whom? Private companies are privately owned. Maybe yourself, maybe your husband and wife, maybe someone else, maybe family members like this. Public companies belong to whom? Public companies are like. Private companies are shareholders. Limited company, shareholders. How many shareholders of public company? I give him a candidate. Ordinary shareholders. Private limited है Man ये व्यवस्था में private company हम privately owned, नहीं public company. So generally law believes that the public company belong to the general public. General public means you and me. So that is why they are closely regulated by the government. Because it's a public money. Right? How it belongs to people like you and me? Sometimes when they issue shares, we all can directly buy shares. Right? The public companies shares like me have shares, which are maybe simple, right? Even at that, maybe we are owners of them. Maybe we are indirect owners. These are stakeholders of it. You own, we have an insurance fund. Insurance, right? EPF. Whether EPF insurance cover and all investor. They invest their money buying shares in a public companies. Right? So those ETF insurers are getting money. Therefore, if you don't buy the share directly, at least indirectly we become the stakeholders of the company. So that is why it's called that public companies are belong to the general public. So that is why there are number of codes regulation to govern them because they belong to the general public. Apart from the requirement of the Companies Act, there's a code addition, code good governance, code best practice, code. If it's a listed company, again, CSC rules and regulation. If not, securities and the Securities Regulation Act. So, government public money has regulation. The reason is the law is that they are belong to the general fund. American car will get a manufacturer, transaction company of Committee Apparate, where the general do public. What they immediately. Immediately, American car, EPF, distant companies, manufacturer, transaction companies. Indirectly, right. So that is why they are closely regulated. So public companies, there's no maximum number of shareholders, and they are only minimum 2 directors and those directors have to retire at the retirement age. They can issue shares and debentures to the general public. In that case, they can make millions, billions, maybe in hours. There must be a qualified secretary and qualified auditor. In a private company, maybe anyone can act, but in a public company, there must be a qualified auditors and qualified secretaries. Directors have to retire at the age of 70. Shares can be freely transferred without any restrictions, even that is from private contractor can ensure. And they also can be a listed company. So, in practice, again, some public companies may also belong to the one family or one member group. Next. But general public don't believe they are belong to the general public. Next. Private company means everyone. Next. And every here. The public companies come to again. So one way or the other, come from that to that. So if I get that, I get the thing. So much public company. Ikan sampai terkena ada jalan parah jalan ini. Ini hidup parah yang ada yang kita percaya. Kalau agak ada, memang ada dia teknik hamil ada, mukad bagi malu dia parah dia ni. Kerana jadinya dalam kepentingan orang parah. So they are also controlled by one more 50 people. But general public believe they are belong to the general public. Right. So I mean, these two are complete two different type of companies. Even though we call them limited companies, now you know they are two different type of companies, right? Private companies and public companies. Both are limited companies. So this is another type of company. Companies limited by Galle. What is that? Guarantee limited guarantee. From our company. You can also add they are also limited companies. They are limited now. For limited. In a limited companies, they are liabilities limited to the shares they have bought. In a guarantee company, just guarantee company issue shares. Are you hearing this? You could have that answer. In Sri Lanka, guarantee companies do not issue shares. They don't issue shares. There are no shareholders. Yes, so they don't issue shares. Therefore, there are no shareholders. Can I tell you? Can I guarantee company how do you I think I'll help. Shareholders. Can I should have that done it? Can I tell you? Guarantee company, I can't go again. Have you ever done? Audit of the company? Because they use different terms. Term shareholder must be replaced with the term member. You are any members, right? So basically, there's no difference between the member and the shareholder, right? If a company issues shares, whether it is called member or shareholder, same thing. But for the guarantee company, there are no shareholders, so they are known as the members. For the accounting and other financial issues, you have to presume that every member has a one share. Am I calculating that? No, I'm a member make a share. And then the share register must be a member register. share again, member share. And also they don't have a loss and profit account. What do they have? You are one of the income and expenditure account. So these are the ones you never know where we have so far. कोई ऐसा बेचता नहीं प्रॉपर अमाउंट में ऐसे वो ज्ञान से बेचते तो यार ये शेयर होल्डर समय तो प्रॉफिट अकाउंट में right. So part 2 is about the private limited companies. Part 3 is about the guarantee limited. So their liabilities also limited. It is limited to the guarantee. They give guarantee that this is my life. 1,000 rupees. 400,000 rupees. Then their liability is limited to that amount. However, there's another difference between the limited company and guarantee company. In a limited company, the members are liable to pay their share on call if they are not paid. But in a guarantee company, members are only liable to pay their amount at the rate of finding. In between, they can't ask. Because of what that much say again in the province. Right? So guarantee company is a company which does not issue share, and the liability of members is limited to the amount they have agreed to pay at the rate of finding now. So, how to incorporate a guarantee company companies? So, guarantee limited, you have to incorporate under section 32. Right? What is the minimum members of a guarantee company? For the limited company, what is the minimum members? By the way, how is the 13th amendment to the Companies Act? What is the one? 13th amendment to the Companies Act. I'm not sure whether it is available. It is done just 2 months before. 2-3 months before. 2-3 months. 13th amendment to the Companies Act. You know? How? For the section 4, the main government beneficial ownership pay and the other and for the company that time, you can share 5,000. You can share 100, South India, you can share 5,000. You get the individuals of Amadi, 5th day, 6th day. Making this course get a initiative beneficial ownership there, course. Apart from that, there's amendment to the one make one of the mandate discourse of make a main requirement, right? Then it's so like Angular at the bed. He had done how that will share individuals, I think. It's so not English Harry, share the stick of how the owner here subsidiary number. That the donor beneficial ownership here, how the other in the game, take it. The gates are then under but today, single shareholder companies get the act officially clarifies and legalizes the ability to incorporate a company limited by shares with a single shareholder. Right? Okay, after the single shareholder, you were that clear. Take a minimum members come or the Kai, take a pass them, okay, minimum members shall be 2 කියලා තමයි කලින් යන්නේ තියෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ කියන එක ප්‍රොවිෂෝ එකට there may be a single shareholder, that shareholder may be a corporation, government or the individual කියන්නේ. ඒකත් මේකෙන් අයින් කරලා මොකද මුල shall be 2 කියලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ amendment එකේ කියනවා මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? Single shareholder successful one කියනවා. Officially clarifies and legalized the ability to incorporate a company limited by share with a single shareholder. That is how much right? It is මේ act එකත් එක්ක ඉස්සර පුළුවන්, but it was not clear. Section 4(2) වල කියන්නේ shall be 2 කිය. ඊට පස්සේ කියනවා may have one shareholder, එයා ලොකෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ඒක ambiguous. ඒක තමයි amendment එකකින් කියනවා single shareholder companies can be incorporated. Right? The minimum members is 1 කියලා මේක පැහැදිලිවම කියනවා. Right? නැත්නම් ඔය charter example ඉස්සරහ දානවා what is the minimum number of members in a limited company. Right? දෙක කියලා දැම්මොත් තමයි උදේ දෙක දැල්ල. එක කියලා දැම්මොත් ලිකවුවත් උත්තරයක් ගන්න. හැබැයි අන්න ඒක තමයි දැන් විශ්ලා අතර මේක කියනවා ඒකයි. limited company minimum number එකයි කියලා මම දෙකකින් කියනවා. ඒ limited company. Galle company charter එකේ paper හදලා ඉස්සරහම ඔය section එක ගන්න ඒක question එකක් තමයි ගන්නවා. Section එකේ salary to කියලා උන් දන්නේ නැහැ මේ security අවුලකට බැංකුවේ උඹලා දන්නේ කියලා එක කියලා දෙනවා ඒක තමයි. ඒක තමයි මම ඔකෙන් ID මා පොඩුවේ වර්මයි. ඉතින් ඒක දෙවියන් ළඟ කියලා ලකුණු මතයි යන්නේ. පොඩි ලෝක සම්නේ බලන්න. පොලිටස් විතරකින් කොහොමද කියලා නේ. ඒක මොකද නැහැ. Lanka originally had paid students. Paid is the Mahabharata को degree, Tata then doctor like. But full of the put the gas. What is the minimum number of members in the Galle company? Huh? Galle company की limited company ना one के अंदर पहली नहीं Galle company खाली पर्सनल किला केवल वाला 13th amendment का बात है उन्हें इकाई की का पर्सनल किला तो ना 13th amendment का बात तो है Galle company की minimum नाम है बाद Galle company incorporate करना दान किया नहीं खाली लेके एक पहली में किया any person no persons के एक ही किया एक के बिना खुलवा के right आपने जो आगे से किया how to incorporate a limited company की पता करने में any person no person that means even one person can incorporate a company right मेरे कौन सा पता नहीं any 2 or more persons therefore the minimum members for the Galle company is 2 right Galle company देने को नहीं अब अभी मैं amendment का मानना कहते हैं उसके बाद भी हाल तो है एक ऐसी लिमिटेड कंपनी वन की रहेगा सर हम कितने पब्लिक कंपनी के क्या पब्लिक तो हार्डवेयर में प्राइवेट कंपनी सिंगल शेयर कंपनी सब तरफ प्राइवेट कंपनी पब्लिक के नाम का लिखा था पब्लिक तो ना पेपर इसलिए एक लोग नहीं पास थी खाली खाली है for the Galle company minimum members are 2 that is I said any 2 or more persons limited company that any person no person right? That's another difference between limited company and Galle company limited company one Galle company 2 by making application this is same right and there again application here application is form 5 limited company application is form 1 Galle company application is form 5 then there must be article of association, articles of these are same. Director's consent form 18, secretary's consent form 19, that must be there. 5, 18, 19 articles of association. Limited company 1, 18, 19 articles of association. එතන වෙනස මොකද්ද? එක limited company එක නම් එක 17 නේද? Application, directors, secretaries, and articles of association. Here 5. This is same. This is same. This is same, but different. Right? The application is 5. Articles is but content is different. Right? What's the difference? Let's see. Section 33 says what should be there in the articles in the guarantee company. So it says if it's a guarantee company, its articles must provide for the object of the company. Company के परमार्थ तीन होने क्या की? Limited company object तीन होगा ना? Limited company object तीन होगा ना? Limited company का object कोर्स का तीन होगा ना? परमार्थ तीन होगा ना? तीन number like four. That's like probably I'm really bad. But I can limited company कौन वाले तीन होने के? अब तो limited company क्या खाता है? मंगे भी रखती हैं। Limited company का आर्टिकल सब वहाँ के ना? That it cannot issue shares and other securities to the public. And the members must be willing to sit to the members. Not very happy. Object in the reservoir. Right? Therefore, it is not mandated, right? Or not that and the flow. Have I given? Flow nothing. Than the back here, than the phone here. It is not mandated. Have a limited guarantee company. It is mandated. It is mandated. And right? You can't incorporate a guarantee company without object. But limited company you can incorporate even without object. For Nandana, long on the Sudana. Have a guarantee company, none of this person to Sudana. Then a guarantee company and value markers were. It has my object course in the amount that member agree to pay at the rate of 5. So if those two are in the articles of association, what to say? The guarantee. Yes. One issue. What? Inter. Take it. When you take into in fact, I came today because we had no lecture during the last week. I should be in hospital. It's a bit than we can't net that this to go any other. Then I think like you use some letter in it. Say, okay, have a break at now.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Don't make it too long as we were late to the Africa. Gulab Park in the park,
Oh yeah, maybe not going to argue that if you Oh, that's half sudah kalau tidak Nih, aku terima kasih dengan dia. Biasa dengan sangat kasih dengan dia. Teman. Yeah.
Okay. With guarantee companies, you can incorporate for any type of business which has the object loss. Right? But unfortunately, I think not from the general public. Sometimes even the authorities are not aware of the true picture of the guarantee company. They believe they are charities and servants. But you can see it's yet another company, it's objects. Object loss. Almost another private company, in a limited companies, your liability is limited to the shares you have bought. In a guarantee companies, their liability is limited to the amount they have allocated to the. That's only different. And the limited companies, one member here, two member. Limited companies, they are liable to pay on calls. Guarantee companies, they are only liable to pay at the event of finding. Right? Otherwise, you can incorporate the guarantee company to do any business. But unfortunately, has this mixed understanding or not proper understanding of the type of companies. Even the registrar of companies, sometimes they do go into incorporate the company, there are some other requirements. Like you have to register with the NGO secretariat and so there are some other requirements. Right? As a result, there's a very number of companies registered as a guarantee company. So, however, my opinion is that just like limited company, you can incorporate a guarantee limited. Only thing is you must have a object clause. What about the general public building? That's the law, right? I said, right? Even if we can compare, we can compare and guarantee compare. But the general public building, when we call guarantee compare. Someone is more than guarantee compare. People with a neighbor, guarantee. But this is not. It is here another type of compare. Someone Muslim and in the members of that. The installer of this belief is a guarantee. They say they ask if you want to incorporate a guarantee compare. The only thing is you can't get the model answers. Because in the model answers, there's no object. Here you have to include the object clause. Right? The best thing is, my opinion, almost all the private schools can be incorporated as a guarantee because they have object to run a primary education, secondary education, or higher education. Like the private universities, private schools can be incorporated as a guarantee. But that's when they go to incorporate them, then the registrar asks them to go to the maybe the security office or maybe Ministry of NGO Secretariat, and you have registered in there and here and so and so. When you go there, those people know nothing about the company, they have no staff, right? Articles they say include other clause that you will register with the Secretariat office and so and so. Right? As a result, even the people who are private schools and the universities also incorporate their company as a private. But I think it's the best option because of this misunderstanding. They don't do it. That misunderstanding, even the general public believe it is scary. So those people who know the business take the best advantage of this misunderstanding. Right? Because that never make a good negative. One good example is the state. What is a state? Private university is incorporated as what? The second whole private universities are incorporated as private limited companies. Right? Including science. But still people were very used to they incorporate it as a category. So people believe it is a category. Some people believe it is even beyond the color. Right? It's 100% private class. 7 members, they are at 50,000. Okay. Other simply are talking that's their care. Right? So they have taken the full advantage of it, but anyway, there are some litigation as well against the state because it is primarily used the harmful fund that the government tax. Right? For a very small price, or almost nominal price. And they said that they will give a number of scholarships, but now they are as a later what they did was they incorporated it as a guarantee. They will get the business people acting as a business people, very good. This is a you take that one thing. Guarantee the cure of this with a rate. I take the house of a Probably Kata and you put up Maldiva, Stagger and Federal. No media talk about the same. Full of good and they are created that they are Unga very down. That is why you need to have a good understanding of your business form. So they are very good in that sense. Cycle Sala or Miloga and everything is corporate as a private. So what happened? But there's no beautiful business fiction. Cycle. The cycle is in that way. Chance. Yeah. So they have mixed this up with the next section, section 34. Right? If you incorporate a company under section 32, it is yet the other limited company. Only thing is the liability is limited. But is that object clause? So we all know to incorporate a guarantee limited, there must be an object clause. If that object clause is a useful object, right? If that object clause is a useful object, like promoting art, commerce, trade, sports, education, right? In such a way, then they have a privilege to incorporate that company as an association not for profit. Then they have to register that guarantee company under section 34. If the company has a useful object and if they decide not to share the profit by dividend or otherwise, then they can request from the Registrar General of Companies to register it as an organization not for profit or an association not for profit. In such a case, they don't need to write guarantee limited or limited at the end. Without the limited or guarantee limited at the end, they can register their name. For that, it has to be an association not for profit. It's a type of guarantee limited. I have registered under section 10. Now, give me some example. Association not for profit. Registered in Sri Lanka. If it is association not for profit, the requirement is that there must be an object clause. That object must be a useful object, right? But I guarantee company useful object, any object. Here it says useful objects like to promote art, science, education, sports, trade, commerce, right? And then also it has to have a clause that the company intends to apply its profit or other income in promoting. This is also important because many people believe that they cannot make profit. Can they make profit or not? Can the company association not for profit or profit or bad? Bad. Association not for profit, can they make profit or not? I'm on the Gurmata, and who can they only that come? We're not low picking no man. Well, a business someone is my nail. To be manada, something a part of it. Him own it. And he had been how I think had a marvel of on the down the block part. Right? Right? You have part of a Mukan down to Nala, my nail, right? Mukhaji, what is the use of a business telling? Right? Part of Humble on the gate, the part of the Mukata and Dunan, one of the association, Moka Darne to make profit. Right? Therefore, even an association not for profit, they can make profit. Part of how the Maudi, right? Profit the law is that the members cannot share the profit. Dividend within they have the share under profit. Then what they should do for the profit? Profit was more than $100. Without the banner more than $100. Business salary, consultation fees, accommodation, transport. Right? If there's any profit, they have to use that profit to promote the useful object. For an association not for profit, there is a useful object to promote art, commerce, trade, sports, whatever. Therefore, if there's any profit, they have to use that profit to promote the object of the company. Right? They can't share it. That is the law. Did you get what I said? Right. Then if a guarantee company is formed with the useful object to promote the useful object, then they can incorporate it as an association not for profit. Then apart from the useful object, they also have to have a clause that they will not share any profit among them. And they have to use it to promote the object of the company. Now tell me some example for association not for profit. Safiya ko denu devade. You may find number of companies, however, they are very less compared to the private limited companies. However, the best example that I can give you is the CSE, Colombo Stock Exchange. What is it? It is an association not for profit. What is the useful object? To promote the trade and commerce of the country. So it does not use the limited or gas limited at the end. Its name is Colombo Stock Exchange. It's like a gas limited. It was applied gas limited network association not for profit. Colombo Stock Exchange, yes. Therefore, by looking at names, sometimes you can't think what it's. Maybe Chamber of Commerce. There are a number of organizations. They have registered as an association not for profit. Right? So many people mix up that gas limited and association not for profit things. But you can incorporate a gas limited to do anything. Right? Is that okay? But when incorporating gas limited, registration has a option whether to register or not. And also they can take a model markers, therefore they have to draft their own markers. They have to get approval first, and incorporation for the day is also complex and expensive. The register also has a right to cancel the license granted under this section for good cause. So this section will not apply to guarantee limited, including associations, because all of them are related to shares. Guarantee company do not issue shares. Therefore, share register must be replaced with the members register. When you make accounts like market value or whatever, you can say each member has a one share. And the expenditure income account instead of just a profit account. The privilege is that it is also a company, just like any other company, with separateness, perpetual succession, limited liability and all. And they have a privilege not to use the limited or get limited at the end. Single shareholder companies are also accepted. Right. So I do think the advantage of single shareholder companies. Are you in favor of single shareholder companies or not? Well, I think the companies are the next part donors. Can you not favor of online? What is it? Huh? Going to take a cable supply? Can you cable? Can you program on? Okay. How can think of it? These are the people who draft the companies and told that it is time to start the single shareholder company. The argument was my main argument was even though there are two members, right, they were in fact controlled by the one member. Right? If you remember the Solomon case that we have discussed, at that time there was a requirement of 7 members. If you remember the Solomon case, Who has the full control of that company? There are some attack on it. How did you some something? Someone did it. Someone did it. Now in part of it. Can the guy don't have to have a file? Someone did. This is that. Yeah, again, was coming back to another put down. No. They have the full control now. Right. Therefore, even though there was a requirement of 7 members, it was a single shareholder company. Later, anyway, 7 was reduced to 2. 2 කිව්වම කොහොමද එතනදී? කියන්නේ මියනවා. මියනවා කියනවා දාගන්නවා. මම Srilanka who according to that. මෙයා දන්නේ shareholder. As there's a schedule requirement that there must be 8 members, there's a name of that. Right? If you are not therefore, both sided, even though there's a 2 or 7 or 1, there's no effect. There may be 5 companies are other side, but they have carried allocated higher. They got in the Suama, Italian, and some Pahaya. Below that. Therefore, they decided I have come to start a single shareholder company, and the next reason was that this they can regulate the companies. Once we incorporate companies on the companies, there must be some type of regulation. And kind of told what the Christian alone is. Therefore, at least they can make some come and regulate the business of the country. So with that, they have introduced the single shareholder company, and by that time, anyway, there are some other countries. They have also recognized the single shareholder companies. Only requirement is that when there is single shareholder, 100% share can be given to one person. That person can also act as a director or managing director, but sole director cannot act as the sole secretary. It's very important. Sole director cannot act as a sole secretary. But secretary is not required to be a shareholder. You can hire a secretary. So 100% share secretary, I might direct the secretary. Practical issues came in Australia. We compare this. I say, in the next, I know this. The number of anything here in open business soon that we know that thank you compare because you can't now compare with the shareholder there. Luckily, yes, there's a law that sole will take care of that. Secondly, anything in a lot of the secretary take action to wind up the now the second it is to be done. But at least there were 2 directors, that there it is easy, at least you can run it, attacking closer business knowledge. Right. So, anyway, the single shareholder companies ensure that small and medium entrepreneurs could limit the risk of resources in venturing into business, protecting personal family assets, essential for the livelihood of their families. Right? Now, when you have a sole proprietorship, what's the main disadvantage? If it went wrong, even there will be no place for your people. It has been like only the service. But now, with the introduction of the single shareholder, the company, it is a company. Not this personal property. At least they can guarantee that there's a place for their next stop. But in the India, the company, because in the concept of cooperation, person at the start, same. Right? Therefore, even in that sense, it's a good advantage for the small and medium entrepreneurs. This is another type of company, unlimited companies. So basically, whenever you talk about the companies, I'm sure you all have right the answer that one main advantage of comparison limited liability. But it is not true at all for an unlimited company. If a company is registered as an unlimited company, then the liability of members are not limited. Unlimited company is a company. There may be some shareholders, their liability is not limited. It's almost similar to a sole proprietorship or partnership. However, in Sri Lanka, there's no any company registered as an unlimited company, even if the company is recognized as the unlimited company. It is obvious that people in countries like Sri Lanka incorporate companies to limit their liability. Right? So they don't incorporate it. However, if you incorporate a company to buy a land or house, there's no use, there's no difference whether it is a limited company or unlimited company. Someone can take a company and business start on it. Foreigners are company and get foreigners for the tax in the company and get company. In such a case, there's no difference whether it is a limited company or unlimited company. However, then given for the Vetam among the people, may be the this is shareholder disclose material than any personal here. Some other unlimited companies are very popular. Almost all professional business, including accounting auditing firm, are also registered as unlimited companies. There are some companies in UK, especially America, right? They have even incorporated no liability companies. Make unlimited. Maybe unlimited, there may be some shareholders, their liability is limited. Unlimited company, at least there must be one person, his liability is unlimited. Where some are like limited, but no liability company means they don't take any liability at all. Especially the mining companies, railway companies. If something went wrong, it is unlikely to pay. Mining exploit. So therefore, with some restriction, they can incorporate such mining companies and railway companies as no liability companies where they don't take any liability. But they are not here in Sri Lanka. This is another type of company, offshore company. Part 11 of the Act recognizes offshore companies. In 11, you know, as Akpera Sama company. What is it? Part 11, separate part. Only that part is relevant to the offshore companies. Other section will not apply. So it is the company which you can incorporate here in Sri Lanka, but cannot do business in here in Sri Lanka. They have to do their business outside our shop, outside Sri Lankan premises. So if you want to do business like importing cars from China to India, so you can incorporate offshore company here in Sri Lanka. Right? Even some brother like a plan on a that's what more than Lanka I got the van. Amsterdam was done. And the medical magnetic program, a business center. Brother like a gun, thing was done not in it. Done not in it. The old Amsterdam was ever legal. It's ever. It's one offshore company. Have a exam, you go to get an and so they will do a main company and main the party registration. That's a big offshore company with foreign company right. And so there was sex game legal, sex game legal, every type of sex game are legal. Take a look at it, something right. Every level and if you go to but the in the on one two times. Colombo is a city, Colombo is a country. Almost all people speak English. If you take a district, that is very like district here, take it. All of good Uganda, all of Uganda. Take a nice. You are take a cover by the Carolina, and I can do that. Our body is take a good subtraction. Take a local requirement. Amsterdam rate 100%. Amsterdam red district, Malpercent. Trade light district of Amsterdam like 100%. If you have a healthy label, a line and 10 months, I love it in the net. Either reason. Other getting on it, but figure Gata, feel a live sex of combat. Glass Gata, Hamayasi river. Angi gain in Capola. Bali the Talian, right? So I did a balance. Ever Balan the Talian of Given Mahal expensive maybe. Life was told that class and I take a little in some other company, like that same way, legalized. Even not a pay at the time, Kulka, after community, you not be passed out of time. Now we are going to the new panty got up. Perhaps it's another. Nothing. I'm the man, I'm there. Here is for that. Can't still see the problem. Amsterdam, Mangitan, I legalized. We did and the pro Mangitan naturally. What is it done? Take a look at sex or and I will ask you the lucky of legalized. It's a miss here, a business. Inside a department to get also company, foreign company, Eva and the so you can Monday I did on my first gay 5 years to monitor Patra. Appear that even Zamana, Amdu, Sulu, Talavan, then we want him. It's a carnal Kerala, the news open and he must that. He doesn't move out to blow for that, I openly kill it. Appear that the news must have the light. Surely were up there. Very good. It open contest for Amsterdam. I didn't ask that. Who was the either one, Mana, Gira travel. I didn't ask that. Kunchira, I think, that Kunchira. We look at the powers and municipal things on the Amsterdam. So also, compared you can register in Sri Lanka. Then they are subject to that country's, right? But they can do any business within that country. They are called offshore companies. It may be an already existing company or new company, right? Then the company then you have to re-register it as an offshore company. These are some examples. All those companies are registered here, but they don't do any business. Registration procedure is complex and expensive. Right? So there are some restrictions. As an example, sometimes when the companies are about to close down, wind up in their countries, those people try to come to other countries and incorporate their business as an offshore company. So if the registrar got notes about that, then he can incorporate some companies as offshore company. Right? Tamangate Master Basna Kalva, a company, may offshore company. So they get the registrar, he has right to reject it. We have and also we have to register the national interest and the national economy before register offshore companies. The privilege is that they only need to comply with the Part 11 of the Act. Other provisions will not apply. Restriction is that they can do any business here in Sri Lanka. They have to do business off our shores. However, they can have a business place. They can have a security people for that. So those type of even they can hold lands here in Sri Lanka. Right. To continue, they have to renew the license every year, pay the prescribed fee. The registrar again has a right to cancel the license for good cause. Right. Another type of company is the overseas companies or foreign companies. Right. What is that? It is almost the reverse of the offshore company. Offshore companies, we incorporate here, do business other countries outside Sri Lanka. Foreign companies is the companies that are already incorporated in those foreign countries, but if they want to do business here, so if they have started business here, then within 1 month, they are not incorporated, but they have registered here as a foreign company because they are already incorporated. So they don't need to incorporate again, but they have to register here as a foreign company. Then only they are legally permitted to do business. Almost reverse, right? Offshore company may register a business කරනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ register කරලා මේ business කරනවා. I think Sri Lanka is also, I'm not sure whether it is given. Foreign companies now also can be a listed company. Right? So these are the to register, they have to take all the incorporation document in those countries. If they are not in English language, then they have to get the translation with the embassy seal, then only they can incorporate. Yet it also takes time and the money is also expensive. So they also can hold lands here. Financial statement can be here or other countries. Some examples. Nokia Incorporated is incorporated in Finland. They do business here, they have business place here. Galle is incorporated in Bahrain. They do business here, they have registered here. Right. Why do you think that our company law promote offshore company and overseas company? What are the advantages that we have as a country? Very true to Mahatma. Are you happy? Are you good? Making good? Come on, you must be doing when you come next week, come with full advantage of full disadvantage of foreign companies and all this. This is going to make payment. We are doing not for the last one. Apart from our money here, then we are not doing. Yes. I think that's the next.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can we upload the all tutors for LMS?
Haven't I updated? If you have uploaded the
No, sir.
right, we do. Who is the best representative? If I haven't done it by tomorrow, remind me, okay? So if I haven't done it, please responsible, okay? Yeah, you have to repeatedly call me until I get it done, okay? This is, you have applied the account, really?
Yes.
Yeah. 90, right?
80.
9 extra.
Thank you. Yes.
This is